Hey friends, Elizabeth here from Plant-Based Bride, and today I'm going to be sharing 10 ways to maximize the productivity of your bullet journal. Thank you to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. Go to squarespace.com/plantbasedbride for 10% off your first purchase. I'll talk about them more at the end of the video, but for now, let's jump right into it. Number 1, utilize the power of the brain dump. Whenever you're feeling a little bit overwhelmed, create a new brain dump, drop everything that's on your mind, and then before you move on, assign anything that's an actionable task to a specific day or week or month so that you know nothing will get left behind. This can really give you some peace of mind and help prime your mind and clear it out so you can have a productive day. Number 2, try out the rolling weekly, also known as a running task list. Those of you who have been around for a while know that I am constantly singing the praises of the rolling weekly. It is the only weekly layout that I use in my bullet journal, and I have been for over 2 years at this point. I have an entirely dedicated video to the rolling weekly, which I will link for you to go check out. But here's a quick rundown of why I think this weekly layout is so effective for maximizing productivity. The basic concept of a rolling weekly is that you have space for daily events, so things that are happening on specific days, work, appointments, and then a task list that's for the entire week for any tasks that don't have a specific day that they have to be assigned to. This allows you to write down everything you need to get done in the week without having to assign them to specific days and rewriting them over and over again if you don't get them done. I feel like every single week I have a bunch of tasks that do need to get done at some point during the week, but it really doesn't matter if they get done on Monday or Saturday. Writing them down in a running task list means that when they get done, and I can cross it off, and I don't have to spend my entire week rewriting task after task after task. This saves time, it's more efficient, and it also helps to see in one list everything that has to get done in the week and be able to decide what I want to do now and what's better to do on another day. I can still stay super organized and on top of what has to get done, but it allows me the flexibility I need to go with the flow when something pops up. Number 3, don't overdo it on the trackers. I know it can be hard, especially if you're new to bullet journaling. It's so much fun to set up a bunch of different trackers. It feels like it's going to help you so much to live a better life. But in my mind, when it comes to trackers, less is almost always better. Especially when it comes to something like a habit tracker, I just find monthly trackers tend to not get filled out. If there's only a few things that you're trying to keep track of, consider adding them into your running task list each week instead of making a separate tracker. I just add my habits as another task, write in brackets beside it how many times in the week I hope to do it. So if it's, for example, making the bed, then it would be 7 because I hope to make the bed every single morning. But if it was working out, for example, I maybe would have 3 to 4 in brackets because I'm not going to work out every single day. Then I can just indicate the days that I completed the habit as I normally would with any task and keep track of my habits and my tasks all in the same place. This again means I don't have to rewrite my habits a bunch of times on my dailies to remind me to do them, as well as having to go back to a monthly tracker to fill them in. 4, swallow the frog. If you've never heard of this concept before, the idea behind swallow the frog is to start off your day with the number 1 biggest task you have to get done. The thing you don't necessarily want to do, it's usually the thing you'd want to procrastinate on, but it's the one thing that if you finished it, you would feel like you had a successful day. Whenever possible, do this task first thing in your day. I like to write it at the very top of my daily and put a star beside it to mark its priority. This is the one thing that I need to get done this day, and it's usually the first thing I'll tackle. That way, even if that task takes a really long time or something comes up and you can't get to the rest of your task list, you still feel like you had a productive day and you still attended to your number one priority. Number 5, don't overload your schedule. I don't know about you, but I tend to assign far too many tasks to a single day. I really tend to underestimate how long it takes me to do various tasks, and I try to pack in way more than I could possibly do in 24 hours. So something I've started to try to mitigate this is to assign myself my number one priority for the day, my swallow the frog task, and then to assign just 3 other tasks. It might not seem like a lot to give yourself 4 tasks to complete in a day, but what I'm talking about are major tasks, not taking out the garbage or doing the dishes. These are tasks like filming an entire video or going grocery shopping, which for me usually takes at least a couple hours. I try to stick to assigning myself 1 primary priority and then 3 secondary priority tasks for the day. If I manage to complete all 4 of these things, I'm usually doing great. Of course, if you have other small tasks you have to get done during the day, like taking out the garbage or doing the dishes, then you'll want to add those, of course, but they don't count as your top 4 priority tasks for the day. Number 6, try time blocking. To make sure you get all of these tasks done, I've been trying to utilize time blocking. Time blocking is something I've done for a long time, but I have never really incorporated into my bullet journal until now. Especially now that I'm working from home, time blocking really helps me to stay on task. I can write out the hours that I expect to be working during the day and then assign my 4 biggest tasks, along with any smaller tasks that have to get done, to specific times of the day. This kind of helps to keep me on track. And if I realize that I've spent 2 more hours on a task than I'd initially assigned, it gives me a chance to kind of check in and see if maybe I'm wasting my time a little bit, if there's a way that I could become more efficient, or maybe I just need to stop that task and move on to the next one and come back to it later that night or the next day. Sometimes things just take longer than we expect, and that's totally valid and fine, but also sometimes I'm just being a bit lazy and not really working as hard and focusing as much as I should be on the task at hand. Time blocking helps me to keep my day organized. Number 7, use the Pomodoro technique. The idea behind this technique is to work for 25 minutes and then to take a 5-minute break. The Pomodoro technique is amazing if you, like me, struggle with focusing on one task and not getting distracted. It's a great way to make sure that you are doing one thing at a time and not multitasking. It's a really common misconception that multitasking is more efficient. It really isn't. Our brains do best when they're focusing on one single task at a time. So the Pomodoro technique helps because you can focus on just one thing for a set amount of time and then have a scheduled break where you can let your brain wander, you can do something else, you can watch a YouTube video or grab a snack or go sit outside for a few minutes and kind of give yourself that refresher, let your mind wander, and then be able to come back and focus in again on one thing for another set period of time. And it's also amazing for fitting in those tiny little bonus tasks. Like I said, I try to focus on 4 major tasks each day, but when I'm using the Pomodoro technique, I can address any of the tiny little extra nagging tasks on those breaks. A break doesn't necessarily have to mean just relaxing. A break can just be doing something different to give your brain some variety. This is a great way to fit in all of those smaller tasks in and around your 4 primary priorities for the day. Number 8, plan the night before. This is one I personally have trouble doing, but I always feel so much more prepared and productive when I do it. If you can take even 10 minutes at the end of your day to review how you did that day, what you got done, what you didn't get done, and assign tasks to the next day, you'll be so much more ahead than if you didn't. I find for me, I am most productive first thing when I wake up after I've had a cup of coffee, of course. Now, I am not a morning person and I struggle to get out of bed, but I am my most productive in the morning. So if I plan the night before, when I wake up, I know exactly what I planned to do first thing, and that helps to motivate me to get out of bed. I know what my number 1 priority is, I know what my swallow the frog task is, and that makes me want to get out of bed and get that number 1 thing done. If I don't plan the night before, I'll wake up and I'll want to sleep in, I want to cuddle with my husband, I'll want to make a coffee and just lounge around for an hour, but then I kind of lose the momentum and I lose my most productive hours of the day. So if you can, plan the night before. Number 9, minimize distractions. I'm sure we have all experienced days where we just can't focus on the task at hand. For me, my number one distractor is my phone. So lately I've been trying to set a timer for however long I'm planning on working and then put my phone away across the room where I can't get distracted. I can't be tempted to go on Instagram or on Reddit or put on a YouTube video to kind of watch in the background. I just put it away, and then when the alarm goes off, then I can check those things. So whether for you it's your phone or it's something else, try to minimize your distractions, especially during those dedicated, focused work times. And lastly, number 10, develop a routine. This is great for tasks that have to be done regularly, whether they're every single day or once a week. If you start to develop a routine, you'll find yourself doing these habitual tasks without even having to think about it. This can make your day so much more productive and help to reduce any kind of decision fatigue that may develop. I put together an ideal day for myself in my bullet journal so that I could use that as an example for my daily routines, for things I have to do every single day, to try to develop it as a habit and not think of each of those things as individual tasks to get done, but just to do them without even having to think about it. I also assigned weekly tasks to specific days, so Mondays I have to bring out the garbage or recycling depending on the week, and I know that every time a Monday comes around I have to be collecting and sorting the garbage or recycling and bringing it out and bringing the bins out to the curb so they can get picked up Tuesday morning. The more routines you can develop, the more productive you can be because your brain isn't focused on all of these little daily life things. It's focused in on the specific tasks you're trying to get done. So those are my tips, 10 ways to maximize the productivity of your bullet journal. I hope at least one of these ways was helpful to you. Please let me know in the comments down below if you have more ways to up the productivity of your bullet journal. I would love to hear them. Thank you to my patrons for your support. I appreciate you so much. This video is sponsored by Squarespace. As y'all might know if you've been around here for a while, I actually use Squarespace for all of my websites and have for years. One of my favorite things about Squarespace is that it really helps to reduce barriers so you can be even more productive. Whether it's their modern templates that are really easy to use and set up, so you can design a beautiful professional website in record time, or their image editor, which allows you to do a bunch of things like crop, resize, rotate, and adjust the brightness and contrast of an image within your website without having to take it into another image editor app, or the ability to duplicate a blog post to use as a template. Squarespace has saved me so much time and helped me to be far more efficient in the way I manage my websites. If you want to create your own beautiful website, head to squarespace.com for a free trial. And when you're ready to launch, go to squarespace.com/plantbasedbride to save 10% off your first purchase of a website or a domain. Thank you again to Squarespace for sponsoring this video. So that's it from me today. I hope this video gave you some ideas to help you to really up the productivity of your bullet journal, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye, friends.